therapy is not that you have failed, because that's the thing. People think they go to therapy that they have failed at something.
Right.
No.
You go to therapy so you don't fail at something.
Come on, teach the people, feed the people, right? Thank you. We're going to therapy so that we can.
Well, this is the Herfador. Here we talk all things business, cigars. We talk life. We just talk. That's what we do. We sip, we smoke, and we fellowship. And hopefully y'all can come up with some things. We can give y'all some gems today.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna work on that. So my guest today is Miss Rae Davenport. So I looked at your webpage, and you've got a plethora of things that you do. So we're gonna break down a few of these things. You got author, you got empowerment coach, which I really don't know what that is, so we're gonna have to dive into that. We got life and divorce coach, motivational speaking, we got YouTuber. What have I left out? Oh, and you're a registered nurse.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know Instagram, Facebook if you want, YouTube, website, all of that good stuff.
Awesome. So I am Rae Davenport, and everything that Rae said is true. I do all of that. Who says you just have to do one thing, right? No, you can do many different things. But I am on Instagram as Rae Davenport _. I'm on Facebook, Rae Davenport Motivational Speaker. I have a YouTube channel, again, Rae Davenport. Anywhere, Rae Davenport, that's me. And my website is what? RaeDavenport.com. And so I am a registered nurse by profession. I've been a registered nurse since 2004. I can't even believe it's been that long already. But all of the other things that Rae mentioned is some things that I have been planning over the years. And of course, you just tend to build on that throughout the time, because nursing is my profession, but it's not my calling. And so I had to understand that there's a difference between your work and your calling. And sometimes some people are just so blessed to be able to do what they're called to do and make a living for that. But I still do love nursing because I can make an impact. And nursing is a good profession. Medical, of course, the pandemic proved that. Who were the main ones out there?
The nurses.
The nurses. Thank you. Whether it was LVN, RN, nurse practitioners, we gotta give it up for our doctors, of course, because they were amazing, as well as our CNAs and everybody else that works in healthcare and in the hospitals and in those settings. They really essential workers, and that's why we are actually this far in the pandemic right now. And so all those other things is just things that I have been called to do. I see my good friend Hey Bo on here. Nev,
oh, you know Nev?
Oh God, come on. Hey Val.
I invited him to come on with his barbecue, but he's scared. So.
Oh, Nev, you get called out. So everything mentioned is not all that I am about. That's just a certain, a part of me, a part of my story. But if you ever want to get in contact with me, people always say, Rae, how can I get you to come speak? How can I ask Rae how simple it was?
I asked.
I'm not a snob. I don't know if I give off the impression. Some people are like, we just don't know how to approach you. Approach me, I promise.
Just ask.
I am approachable. Just ask. What's the worst somebody could say is no, right?
Right.
Okay, if it's no today, it may not be no tomorrow, but
if it's no, it's no. But you in the same place you were,
Come on. And so sometimes it's just not the right season for where they're asking you to speak to and the audience.
Right.
And so you have to understand that, and the person that's asking also has to understand that. But I can be reached. That's my whole thing of everything is I can be reached, and Rae Davenport is the best way to reach me.
So you talked a little bit about it. So let's dive a little bit deeper into your story, because it's on your website, but For the people who haven't visited your website, let's dive a little bit deeper into your store.
Sure. It just depends, because there's so many parts of a person's store, and even on the website, you can't capture everything, right? So I'll just, kind of give people snippets. So hold up, no matter where I live, I am from New Orleans all day long. Don't rep my city.
You got to.
I've lived in Los Angeles. I now live in Houston, but I am a NOLA girl. I know my accent is not as thick as some others because I've been gone a while, but once I start talking to the natives or I get angry,
it's gonna come out.
It's coming. It's gonna start flowing.
It's gonna come out.
But I'm from New Orleans. I graduated from, gotta give my school, Warren Easton. Come on.
Yeah.
My Eagles are out there. Then I went to nursing school. And so once I graduated from nursing school, that's how I moved to Los Angeles. Had a wonderful experience there. I wasn't planning on staying in LA as long as I did, but Katrina happened. So I graduated in 2004. And I was going to do my year. I was making plans to go back home, and bam, Katrina happened. So there was no home to go to.
No home.
And so I was already there. I was already established as a nurse. And so I just stayed there for several years. Got great experience living in Los Angeles. Friends became family. When you're away, you do the best that you can.
Right.
There's some people, we can't choose our family, but we can absolutely choose our friends. And so that's why when people say, my friends ain't nothing, you chose them.
Birds of a feather.
With that person, So I chose some great people as friends and their family. But the LA is far, and so my mom is New Orleans to her heart. I don't know if she'll ever leave. When she got the first chance, she got to go back. When the city opened, she was
there.
So I'm like, okay, but I wanted to get closer to home because there was just some elements about New Orleans and Louisiana that didn't sit right, too well with me. So I got close to home. And Houston is a great city. It is thriving. You can have a wonderful life. It's very affordable. The school districts are amazing, and because I'm a mom of two boys, and so that's why I chose Houston. Will Houston be home forever? Probably not, but it is a great place. And I love it. I purchased a home here, and so I have property here. So that's how I got to Houston. Got to Houston. Really didn't know too many people when I first moved here, because I moved here in 2011. We were all scattered around, right? Knew a few people, but not too many, and then met this gentleman who decided that he wanted to be my all in all. He knew I really didn't know anybody,
right?
And that's how he really became my go-to, and so that's how I ended up in a relationship that I should not have been in, right? But because we were in a relationship, playing house and all this kind of stuff, may as well get married.
Right.
I knew that I should not have, been in a relationship with him and then to marry him. But I had to make it right in the eyes of whomever, because I was very active in the church. He was very active in the church. And so y'all together, may as well, that conversation that the people have.
Yeah, that conversation came.
Just go ahead and get married. And so that's what we did. And I knew it was wrong from the start. But I had to did it. And so I had to attempt to make it right, or do my work to try, or do my best to try to make it work.
Right.
Well, that ain't work. And I had to get out of a bad situation before it got worse. because it was getting worse as the time was going by. And I said, I cannot stay in this. If I do, I'm gonna die. And so being a mother, and I have 2 boys, I wasn't about to let nobody take me away from my children.
Right.
I was not about
at
to
all.
let anybody.
At all.
No. So I got out of it, and I got out of it the best way that I could. And so that's how the book, or me being a part of the book, came along from that situation. There, like I said, it's other elements to me, but that is how the book was written.
Okay. It's a good snippet. That's a good snippet. So since you brought up the book, let's talk about the book.
Absolutely.
So what is the book about?
So the name of the book is Living Life After Divorce. And so I want to put this out there. It's an anthology. It's not just my story. It's several ladies' stories who decided to get together and give their testimonies, the things that they experienced in a marriage, what it took to really, or how they tried to fight for their marriage. Because this is one thing I want people to say. When somebody decides to get a divorce, it's not, I wake up today and tomorrow I'm going to get a divorce. It's something that they had been battling with for God knows how long. Because you made these vows, you said till death do us part. You told the Lord or the judge or the preacher, whoever you stood before, and said that this is going to be the one that I'm spending my entire life with. I'm not going to let anything separate us, right? So when somebody decides to get a divorce, understand they have been in a battle for a very, very, very long time. Right. And so when you actually get the courage, because that's what it's going to take. That's what it takes to actually, wake up and say, I'm this is it.
Done.
This is the final straw. I am done. There's no coming back after this. It took a whole lot of courage for them to say, I'm walking away from this, right? And so because of this book and the experiences with the other ladies, we decided to get together and tell our stories. Now, we understand that it's my story. I promise you that if you talk to him, he's going to have a side of the story too.
Right. So it's always 2 sides.
Always 2 sides. Maybe 3, Ray.
Maybe. You never know who else everybody got an opinion. Well. Everybody got an opinion on what happened,
Exactly. So, I would never discredit his experience because I wasn't perfect in that. And I understand, I was young. It was just certain things that I just didn't understand, and certain things that he didn't understand. It's 2 people trying to build a life, like, come on. So, the book is me and a lot of other ladies just telling our story, telling our experiences, of what happened, how we view marriage, kind of what went wrong. And what it took to actually walk away and choose ourselves. Right. Because people will say, you just got to stick it through. You just got to stick it through. But I don't want to die in this.
Right.
Like, this is not the best that God has for me. Why would I stay in this? Even though
Definitely
I shouldn't have been in it. I know this is not the best that he has for me. And so you make the decision to get out. And that's what the book, I promise you, if you all haven't purchase the book, go to the website raedavenport.com and get the book. Even if you haven't experienced divorce, and like my mama said just a couple days ago, she said, I wish everybody would read this book because you don't even have to have gone through a divorce, or you could have gone through a breakup or just anything in life, and seeing what it takes to move forward and choose yourself. Right. That's what it is. It's a story of triumph and courage and determination to say, you know what, I'm getting out of this because better is for me. God has much better for me. I am bigger than this, because people don't understand. You could lose yourself in a relationship.
Right. You
could really lose yourself because you're trying to be everything to that person that you're not anything to yourself. Right. And you look in the mirror and you're like, you don't even recognize who you are.
Yeah.
That is absolutely not.
That's not right.
Not what a good relationship does. A good relationship brings out the best in both of you.
Right.
But you're still an individual person, but you're amazing together. If you've completely lost who you are not in the right situation. I'll call it that. You're
situation, relationship, job, whatever, all of that.
Right? If you don't know who you are, if your family don't recognize you or you're not the same when you're around them, because I remember when I was in it and I really wasn't telling people, because honestly, you really don't have to tell people you're going through stuff. They can see it. Right, if they know who you are, they can see it when you change. They be like, something that isn't right. And I see my sisters on here, and it was one time that I was dropping my sons off. We meet in Lake Charles, right? That was our meeting place to get the kids so they don't have to all drive all the way to Houston. We met in Lake Charles, and I was giving her my youngest son, and she could just see the anguish and the turmoil and everything just in my face, on my back. I just wasn't myself. It was like I was dying in the inside. And that's what a wrong relationship will make you feel, like you're dying. And there's nothing about that.
That's not the way it's supposed to be.
Listen, that's not the way to do it.
That is not the way it's supposed to be.
That's not the way it's supposed to be. So and knowing that even the women in the book with me, and I really do want y'all to go and get it, RaeDavenport.com, because I promise you it's going to bless you. It also took courage to tell the story, because once you do that, you kind of open yourself up to be ridiculed or scrutinized, or people just say that's not right, and that's not how it was, or you just make it's vulnerable. You write a book and you just put yourself out there. You're actually being very, very vulnerable. And so I commend the ladies for doing it, even myself. And it took years to do that, because I got divorced in 2016. I didn't write this book until last year. So it took time, but I understood that what I went through, that it wasn't for me. It was to help somebody else. It was to help somebody I was going to encounter, to encourage them and let them know. And even some people in the church, you're not going to hell if you get a divorce.
Right.
You're just not. Okay.
you gotta say it like that. Sometimes you just gotta put it out there for the church folks.
You just gotta put it out there. You're not going to hell. Get out of that. Get up out of there, like I snatch him. Right. But I'm pretty sure my sisters and some of my friends wanted to snatch me out, but everything is in its due season. And so that's why we just have to continue to be in the voice and encouraging them. And so, like I said, I knew that situation wasn't for me. It was because I was going to run into whomever to encourage them and say, you know what, look, I've been there. I absolutely been there. I almost died in it, but I didn't. And so if I can do this, you could absolutely do it too. Definitely pick that book up.
Get the help you with all your situations.
RaeDavenport.com. Go get the book. It's going to bless you. And knowing this too, Ray, is when the things that you read in the book is still not everything, because you can't even put everything in the book. And because it's a collection, it's an anthology, everybody couldn't say everything, because the book will be 1,000 pages. Well, no. We told what we needed to tell so you could understand what we went through and how we got out.
Right, because you want people to read it and not just
absolutely. Like, oh, I ain't never getting through this.
So y'all watching, the whole interview gonna be like this. If you ain't never watched the YouTube videos, the energy is there.
It is. This is who I am. This is who I am. This is how I roll. God made me like this, and I'm gonna give it back to the world just the way He gave it to me.
Facts, as the kids say. So, I mentioned this earlier. Empowerment contributor.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
So what that is, a different part of my life. An empowerment contributor is I write for a digital magazine. I am the empowerment contributor for Confidence Is magazine. It's a digital magazine. It's very new. It came out in like two months ago, and so our the third edition is coming out next month. Look it up. It is on Facebook. It is on Instagram. What I do is I empower people on paper through the without speaking. I try to put this energy down and empower people. And so it's me being connected to a magazine. Your girl writes for a magazine. Y'all don't play with me.
A book and a magazine.
The magazine is called Confidence Is. You can look that up. It's on Facebook and it's on Instagram. On Instagram, it's Confidence Is the mag, MAG. So that's how you can find it.
Okay. Confidence Is on Facebook and Confidence Is the mag on Instagram.
Absolutely.
So now I know what an empowerment contributor is.
Yes.
So next section or piece is life and divorce coach.
Okay.
So my question on that before you get into it is, did you do that before you wrote the book, or was this a result of the book?
So the life coach part had been something that I wanted to do before writing the book. I just wasn't in the right mental place to do it because of what I had gone through, right? And so I couldn't be able to coach people through certain situations if I'm falling apart myself.
Right.
So I had to get myself together before I can gather anybody else.
Right.
So, because you gotta heal. People don't understand. You got to heal from some situations. Some things can really take the life out of you. It can take the joy out of you. It can take everything that you know about you and how other people recognize you. It can take that all away and suck it all out of you. And so I had to go back and get me together. Like really, I had to do a lot of healing. I had to do a lot of forgiving. Because what people don't understand sometimes is you beat yourself up for getting into certain situations. And so I beat myself up a whole lot about getting in that relationship, in that marriage. And I had to forgive myself because I wasn't forgiving myself for even getting in that and putting my children through that, because they were there. There were, situations. You got to get the book to see, the conflict that happened with the kids and me being mama bear, not going to let nobody run up on my kids.
That's mom.
So I'm just not. Ain't nobody. I don't care who you are. And I see a question. Someone said, did you go to therapy? I still go to therapy. Yes, I absolutely encourage therapy. Being raised in a church, being African American, we didn't hear people go to, or it wasn't encouraged to go to therapy and go see somebody about this and go, listen, you can have a therapist and Jesus, okay? Jesus will not get jealous of your therapist. I promise you.
You gotta say it.
Listen, you can take your medicine for your mental illness and you can pray at night to the Holy Spirit. You can have both. You can have both. Sometimes the church make you feel like if you going through this, you ain't praying enough and you ain't calling on it. That's a lie. Even the people in the Bible who were possessed with demons, how did they get them out? Somebody had to call those things out.
Right.
Come on, you have to know
you can't do it on your own.
You have to know the word to be able to call it out. And so I absolutely encourage people going to therapy. Somebody said anything that therapists comes from Jesus. Come on, sis. I encourage people to go to therapy. And if it's something that you don't feel comfortable sharing with other people, then you don't tell them. They don't have to until you know that you're in therapy. No
Right.
one has to be a part of your healing. That's for you. You're not getting
Exactly.
healed for
Right.
other people. You're
Getting
getting
healed for
healed
yourself.
for you. That's a personal thing. And so before you could be anything to anybody, and I have to realize that before I could be any kind of coach or any kind of empowerment anybody or speak life into anybody, I had to heal and deal with some of the things that had got me in the situation that I was in. And
Right.
so I didn't become a life and divorce coach until after I had healed. And I understand that healing is a process. There's still some things, if I'm going to be honest, that I am dealing with because of some choices that I made. But I am to the point where I am able to help other people. And that's how I do it through life and divorce coach. Now, the divorce coach part came because I didn't have certain things going through the divorce that I wish I had. And so becoming a divorce coach was birthed because I needed certain things. And I'm like, if I needed this, I'm sure a whole lot of other people would have needed this and made some things just a little bit easier. And so that's where that came apart. And even as a life coach, one of my specialties is self-love and confidence. You will be amazed how many adults don't have confidence in themselves.
Right.
You will be amazed at how many people deal with not really loving who they are. You will be amazed at that. And so that's why I do what I do, just to speak the life into people that they can't even see for themselves.
Right.
Because sometimes they can see everything in everybody else, but not in themselves. So that's how that came.
Sometimes we can't see, like you said, we look in the mirror and sometimes we might think we fine, but we don't realize we don't recognize who we see, but we think we are, right? But
that's
we're not.
right.
You
That's
know,
right. And sometimes we see it, but we don't want to call it out, because if I say it, then I have to do something about it. If
Right.
I recognize it, then I am really kind of calling it out, and I need to really, really do something about it.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, as Black folk, you know, therapy used to be for crazy folk, you know.
That's right.
So I'm glad that we, as a people, are getting past that these days.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
We all
have
getting better.
We have to. Therapy is not that you have failed, because that's the thing. People think they go to therapy that they have failed at something.
Right.
No.
You go to therapy so you don't fail at something.
Come on, teach the people, feed the people, right? Thank you. We're going to therapy so that we can be better than, or guess what? Nothing is wrong with saying, I'm struggling.
Right.
I'm having a hard time with this. And in relationships, if people need to go to therapy because of the experience that they've had in a relationship, it doesn't even have to be a marriage, because some people spend their lives together and they do whatever it is that they do. But when you love someone with all the love that you have, and you've given it to them, and the person that you love the most do you the dirtiest, that changes you.
Yeah.
That really changes you. The person that I gave all my love and everything to, they turn around and break your heart and break your spirit and break your confidence. That changes who you are.
It really does.
So there's nothing wrong with saying, I gave everything I had in that, and now I feel like I don't have anything else. I need help. Go get some help. Go and get some help. And I see my sister on here. She said, do you put a time limit on seeing a therapist? Absolutely not. It's no time limit.
See them till you're good.
Sometimes people can't go to therapy immediately, because the thing with the therapist is gonna make you confront them demons.
Yes. Yes, they will.
The therapist is gonna make you deal with those things that you have hidden all the way deep down inside, that tucked away, that you think you done forgot about. No, a good therapist is gonna pull those things out of you.
And it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Oh, God have mercy. It's gonna be, listen, when you go to physical therapy, it's gonna hurt, but it's getting you better.
Yeah.
Same thing with dealing with a therapist. The things that hurt you the most, if you're honest with your therapist, you're gonna tell them that. And then the therapist is gonna dig deeper and deeper and deeper. You're gonna end up crying about something that happened when you were 6 years old. You thought you were I thought that was done.
Yeah, I mean the good ones will get you. The good ones will get you.
Yes, the good ones will get you, sis. She said the dig hurts, baby. Listen, the dig will have you feeling like you ready to check out of here. But it's necessary, because with the dig is going after old wounds and pulling the scab off the old wounds.
Right. The thing that never healed.
That never healed properly, right?
Right.
Take that scab off and deal with it. The dig absolutely hurts, but it's going to help your healing properly, because once you encounter certain things like that again, you be like, oh, no, I done dealt with that before. I'm not dealing with anything remotely close to that again. Or you're able to deal with it and come out of it better because you have healed correctly.
Right.
So go to therapy. I am 100% pro therapist. Go to your therapy, people. I think everyone, therapy or some kind of mental evaluation or something should be a part of our annual physicals. Everybody, and from that you can decide, do I need this or do I don't? But I think it's something that everybody should at least talk to once a year, just because you just never know. A lot after this, listen, this whole 2020, this pandemic, whatever, everybody needs to talk to somebody. I promise you.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta go for 6 months and all that. You could just do a couple sessions. People don't even know that those, they're full-time employees, that their employers will pay for them to go to, I think it's like 4 or 5 therapy sessions on the employer. That it's a part of your benefits. Go see or just go talk to somebody. Not everybody has friends that they can let, just release on, or cousins, or not everybody has that. But we do have therapists. And it's so convenient. You can get an app and call.
I see it on Instagram maybe 3 times a week. The ad pop up where you can get the app and you can just hit it on your phone and talk to somebody right there.
Come on. I'm 100% go to therapy. Because even in the midst of the things that you're going through with the relationship, life is still happening. If you're a parent, you still have to attempt to parent your kids. You have your relationship, you're going to work, who knows? And what people don't understand is it's so important that we get with the right person, and you marry and you connect to the right person. Because if you're not happy at home, it's going to affect every part of you. It's going to affect how you do your job at work. It's going to affect how you're interacting with your kids. It's going to affect how you're communicating with your siblings and your parents, and you going out with your friends or you're not going out with your friends. Like, it's that core relationship is going to determine how you deal with everybody. And so that's
how you drive.
Come on. It's important to pick the right person.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Woo.
We just talking.
and that's fine by me. So I saw you had a level up roadmap.
So that's something that's on my website that I would love for people to go and download, because sometimes people know that I need to change, or there's something about me that I need to just kind of tweak, or I'm ready for something different, but I don't know how, and I don't know where where to start. And so the level up roadmap is just steps for you to take. This is something that you may need to look at in your life, and this is something that I'm sure you can tweak and change this pattern or this behavior. So that's what that is. And so again, y'all, go RaeDavenport.com. Go get
all
it.
kind
It's
of
free.
tools.
It's nothing for. It's free. Go get it.
That's the best price in the world right there.
Come
$3.99.
Free with no attachments. Go get it. I promise you'll love it.
That's see, I was gonna ask you how you got into motivational speaking, but I see that. I mean, we can still. I'm still asking, but I see.
So that's. I've been, whether I had the title as a motivational speaker or not, it just happened. It's just kind of something that just fell on me, or other people have given me that, that role. And so somebody, there was like, Ray, I really think you should really take this serious, because God has given you the ability to speak to people and to speak life into people and to uplift them and empower and encourage them. And so again, I was hesitant in doing that, although I had been doing it without the title. It's something about when a title is put on something that you're doing that kind of makes it like, whoa, it magnifies it. Because you never think that you're ready, or that you're enough, or that you are the one. And so I did a YouTube video. I posted it yesterday on the imposter syndrome, right? And what the imposter syndrome is, it's actually a psychological idea that the person thinks that they're not ready. They doubt themselves. They doubt their experience. They doubt their accomplishments. They doubt their gifts and their talents, and always think that I'm not ready. I need more time. Maybe God should have called somebody else, or this person should get the position. And so they allow this fear to stop them from opening up the business, going for the promotion, writing the book, writing the play, moving here and that. And so the imposter syndrome, and like I said in the video, it really is an attack of your mind, and it's a lie. If you allow it to if you start to believe it, then you're never going to go forward, because the person fears, like, because they don't think they're enough, somebody's going to call them a fraud, or call them fake or phony. Like, see, I told you she wasn't real. Oh, I told you. But it is really a lie, an attack of your mind. And if you really start to believe it and allow those seeds to be planted in your mind, you're never going to go forward. Nothing is wrong with wanting to start and do a good job at something, right? That's absolutely okay. Everybody want to start at perfect, but no, you don't start at perfect. You just start, and you absolutely, perfection comes with time. But if you don't ever start, you're never going to get to that point of being comfortable or being the expert that you want to be. You just got to do it. And so if you allow this with imposter syndrome, and it's really real. Imposter syndrome is really real. And so if you continue to believe that I'm just never enough, then you're never going to go forward with anything. But you are enough, and you are ready. And the time, when is the time? Nobody knows what tomorrow holds, right?
Right.
And so
do it now.
The time is now. You only have this here. So you have to go with the time that you have now. And so becoming a motivational speaker, I had to get over my own imposter syndrome fear, and put myself out there as saying, you know what? I may not be perfect at this, but I know that I can encourage somebody, and I can motivate somebody to go from A to B. You ain't got to go from A to Z. I just need you to get from B. A to B right now. We gonna deal with the other letters later. Let's go and we go A to B. Can I get you from A to B? Yes, come on. That step motivated one person. And so I had to get over my own fears of not feeling enough, or feeling like I just need more time. I just need more experience. I just need more. I need to connect with this, and I need to read all these books. How many books you want to read on the same subject, sis? Like, come on. And
they all saying the same thing.
They all saying the same thing, four different ways. Like, come on, you don't need no more.
Right.
So I had to get over my own fear of being a fraud or the imposter syndrome within myself. And once I did that, more doors opened up for me. And people don't understand, like, all it takes is one yes and one step. When you do that, guess what? You have no idea the opportunities and the doors that are open for you. Like, even in that, for those who believe in God, I tell you that God doesn't want perfect. He just wants obedience. He just wants you to be obedient. And I tell him this all the time. I say, Lord, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to keep on walking with you, because
Right.
listen, I don't know. Come on, like, what we doing here? And all he says is, do you trust me? And once you give God your yes, don't take back your yes. Let it continue to be yes. Like, God, I don't know what it is right here, but I say yes.
I'm going to follow
Lord,
you.
This is uncomfortable right here, but I'm going to still say yes. Lord, where are we going? But I'm going to still say yes. And so God doesn't want He doesn't want perfect. And that's why we don't do anything, because we always want to start perfect.
Right.
He don't want perfect. He just wants your obedience. And so I had to get over my own fear, Rae. I can't say that enough. I had to get over my own fear of not feeling adequate or enough, or like, Lord, I was even calling some other people. I'm like, Lord, you should go to this person and that, because I'm pretty sure they could do it better than me.
And he said, nope.
I want you. That's it, right? That's exactly what he said. Nope. I want you. And so, anybody that's struggling, it's never too late to say yes. If you're still breathing, I don't care how old you are. It's never too late to say, Lord, I'm giving you my yes, and let's go. Don't wait. Give him your yes, and I promise you, so many doors gonna open. So many doors.
Right. And you just like do it right now. Right now.
Listen,
real time. Just say yes.
That's
right now.
That may be struggling, that have been, burdening yourself, or you felt like, Lord, I just can't, I don't know how, I just want to wait. We're not waiting anymore. Y'all, give him your yes. Give him, say, yes, Lord, I accept the calling that you have for me. I accept the things that you have for me to do. I accept the assignment that you have put before me. Give him your yes today, and guess what? We're going for tomorrow. Give him your yes, y'all. Today.
Right now. Right now.
I give you 67. Give him your yes.
Y'all watching this right now, when it's on YouTube right now, when I put little videos on Instagram of it right now. Just right now. Whenever now is, right now.
Now.
Do it right now.
Yes.
Stop waiting.
Stop waiting. No more waiting. No more.
No more. That was the next question right there.
Oh.
What were some of the obstacles that threatened to stop you in your tracks?
So, and the same thing that stopped everybody is ourselves.
Right.
We are what stops us. We sometimes think, if I'm not with this person, or if I don't go to this church, or if I don't go to this school, or if I'm not working at this job, or if I'm not connected to this person, it's not going to happen. Let me dispel that myth. The devil is a whole lie. Everything that God has for you is not connected to the other people. It is for you, and he can do it in and through you. Again, what is it going to take? It's going to take your yes. And so the things that was threatening to stop me was me, and fear, which threatens so many of us. It threatens so many of us. But it's what separates us from the people who's doing it versus those that are not. The people who's doing it, they're still doing it and scared.
Right.
But they're
doing it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. They're doing it.
Listen, I even have a blog, and guess where it's at? It's on RaeDavenport.com. I have a blog. And the first entry that I had, I said, do it bold, do it scared, just do it. It doesn't matter, y'all. It doesn't matter if you have all the courage in the world. If you don't, just do it, because the thing is, the more you do it, the less afraid that you're going to be. It's just taking the step and doing it. everybody starts scared. Even millionaires, listen, that's what they don't want to tell you. Even millionaires who have taken risks and chance after chance, they're still afraid, but they do it because they know that I have to. If I don't take this chance, I won't ever get to where I need to go.
Right.
And so that's, whether you're scared or not, y'all, take this step. Do it scared. I have to tell myself, I say, you know what, Rae? Sis, you're going to have to woman up and just go ahead and do this. And even if you are a little uncomfortable, that's what people don't understand. God makes us uncomfortable when he wants us to grow. It hurts. Growing pains are real.
Yes.
And so, but if it doesn't hurt a little, we won't absolutely get to where we need to go. And I tell people, I know we don't like the uncomfortable. I know we don't like the painful situations, but there are some things that pain can birth out of you that pleasure can't.
Right.
And it's the strength that comes after that. It's the experience that comes after that. It's the wisdom. People don't understand how wise you get when you go through some stuff.
Right. The more stuff, the more wise.
Thank you. Yes. And so growing pains hurt, but it needs to hurt. And so I do it, y'all. The thing that separates people is those that did it scared and those that allow fear to paralyze them.
Right. Yeah. So how did you overcome your obstacle?
You know what? I had to do it. What I didn't mention in my story is I'm a former teen mom. I had a baby at the age of 15. And so now that baby is 24, right? And even throughout his life, he had gone through an illness as a teen, and to the point where we thought he was not going to make it. But he's determined. He was determined, and he fought, and he did everything that he could to just live, right?
Right.
And so I said, if he could do it, what's the wrong? I better shut up and do it.
Yeah.
You know, his ability to fight to live gave me the strength to really say, ain't nothing I can get through. And if he can fight to live, I can actually fight with him on his behalf and to be everything that it is that God has called me to be. And so I got strength from him. My youngest son, Garrett, he is now 11 years old. Garrett was diagnosed with autism. I think he was like 4 or 5 when he got his diagnosis. But just where he was and where he is now, how high functioning he is, and people say, I didn't even know, I couldn't tell or anything like that. His ability to fight, for inclusion, or fight to be accepted, just whatever. And I tell I still tell my children this: you ain't gotta fight to be included in anything. You're called out and set aside and set apart.
Right.
God made you different for a reason. We ain't begging to be accepted. Listen now.
Right.
You know who we are.
Leaders, not followers.
Accept me, baby. I don't care. And so, but his fight to get better and to speak, because he had a problem with his speech, right? And so his ability to communicate was a challenge for him, but he was determined to be able to be heard and to be understood. And I'm like, you know what? Sometimes our children give us the strength that we need, and we don't even realize it. And so I got my strength from my boys when I saw them just fighting on their behalf, on the things that they have been going through. I said, come on, sis, you better get up and make it happen. That's all I did.
They can't be fighting, and I'm sitting here worried. I got to get up and fight too.
Right, come on.
So
yes, sir.
I'm in the garage, so I got to wipe sweat.
Oh,
excuse me.
Gone.
It's a little hot. All right. So how would you how would you say that, or how would you encourage someone else to face their uncertainty about their ability to overcome their obstacles?
So it's one day. Listen, let me back up. I was about to say one day at a time. It is 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, 1 week at a time. Whatever it is that somebody may be dealing with, the thing is, you have to deal with it though. You can't just let it go, because people think if I ignore it, it'll go away. No. Right. It's not going to go away.
Gonna be there.
Out of sight. It's just out of sight, out of mind. But guess what? It's a boomerang. It's going to come back around. And so when it does come back around, and if you haven't dealt with it, it's going to be worse than it did before, because it has had time to sit out there and fester and grow and grab other things that it's going to bring with it, right?
Right.
Yo, you don't want to do that. When that thing comes back around, you want to be in a better place than you were when it left you before, when it came out of your mind before, so that when it comes around again, you absolutely know how to deal with it. I'm stronger now. You're not going to take me down. I'm better now. I'm not going through this before. I am wiser now. I know how to deal with this, better than I had. That's why people,
right.
I don't want to run into my ex. I don't want to run into my ex. Girl, why? Why not?
Let him see how you're doing now. Let him see how good you're doing.
Come on, you're gonna miss this. I told you you're gonna miss this. I'm better now. Come on, baby. Run into them. But guess what? When you run into them, you're not that afraid little girl that you were before. You are a well-developed woman who knows how to handle herself now. And even for the man, because we don't like to talk that there are women who break men. There's some women who break some good men, and them men change because of the things that woman has put them through. But guess what, sir? Deal with that hurt. It ain't nothing wrong with the man saying that woman broke me down. That happens. That's real life. And so we need to deal with that. And even people who feeling like, I keep getting the same kind of person in my life. I keep getting these losers. Guess what? It is something in you that's attracting that kind of person. And so if you don't want to continue to keep getting these low down, dirty people, deal with whatever it is that's inside of you. That's attracting that kind of stuff, and uproot that, because you don't want to continue to live your life in cycles like I'm keep going through this, but it's a different person.
Right.
No,
right.
I don't want to go through this no more. I'm not about to deal with this anymore. And so we got to deal with whatever you got to confront. I don't like to use this word loosely, but just for people to understand, you got to deal with your own demons. Like, really, before you get connected with someone else, before you get in a relationship, before you get another friend, before you go on this new job, before you move to this new city, you got to deal with the demons that's kind of having a stronghold over you. Otherwise, guess what's gonna happen when you get over there? The same
they're gonna pop back. Hey, remember us? we here too.
We right here. We were just waiting.
Where you want me to put my stuff at? We here too.
We were just waiting for somebody new. That's it. So you don't want to continue to live your life in those types of cycles. It's something in me. And you ask whoever it is that you deal with, I am a believer. And so I said, Lord, I need you to reveal unto me what it is inside of me that's attracting that. And so he will do that. And you have to be prepared for his answer, y'all, because sometimes it's not going to be nice. And he'll reveal the ugly parts of you that you just did not want anybody to know, but you needed to know. And so when you ask for that, he will reveal it to you. Or if you're honest enough, and there's this term people use, shadow work. What shadow work is looking inside of yourself and dealing with the ugly parts of you. Like, you really, really need to do that so that you don't continue to attract certain things in your life. So how do you get over your obstacles? You confront them. Head on, you confront them. So, and it's no running away. You absolutely have to, hey baby, I'm talking. Yeah, you absolutely have to. You're welcome, baby. You have to deal with them, y'all. That's Garrett. That's Garrett, y'all. So how do you get over your obstacles? You got to deal with them. And we don't like to deal with them. We don't
Right.
like to deal with them. And that's the only way we're going to get through them. You got to confront them.
Head on.
Head on.
Run straight through the wall.
That's it. That's it. Yes, sir. Y'all hear him. He's good.
So what is your why? I saw on one of your YouTube videos, you say your why has to be so big it scares you. So what is your why?
Ooh, your why has to be so big that it scares you, right? Or that it's something that you don't feel that you can do on your own. I have more than one why, but one of my whys is to speak at Essence Festival.
It's a good why.
I do. One of my whys is to speak at Essence Festival. I am believing in my heart, in front of not the little, no, big stage, super dome, take me home. Super
It's going to be a lot of empowered people in there.
That's it. One of my whys is to, and I'm saying it today, I never really told, I wrote it on my board because I'm a visionary, right? I do believe in manifestation. I do believe in seeing things and speaking things. I do, because I know it. Before people was talking about, manifest this and all that of that is in the Bible. Whether people want to believe it or not, if you read the word, you'll know that. But manifestation is in the Bible. And before that, before it became the popular thing to do, I had been doing it, just manifesting and saying things. And so it's on my vision. But I have a vision board, y'all. If y'all don't have one, go and get you one. But speaking at the Essence Festival is my why. And why is that? Because that is absolutely so much bigger than me. Right now, I have the small audiences, and I thank God for these opportunities, because these opportunities build you. Yeah. And people they want to go from 0 to 100. No. You need to walk through 1 to 99 before you get to 100, because it builds you up. It builds your character. It gets you ready for the criticism, because everybody not gonna like you, sis.
Right. And everybody got an opinion.
Everybody's gonna have an opinion. And so my why is to speak at the Essence Festival. But I understand that season is coming, but I appreciate these seasons, the more intimate ones, because it's allowing me to cultivate my speech and cultivate my presentation and really, really get close to people, really lay an impact on them. And that's my goal, whether it's an audience of 10 or an audience of 10,000 or 100,000 or whatever it is. It's about making an impact and somebody saying that I did this because of you, or you're speaking this, because that's, whether I want to accept it or not, it's my ministry, it's my calling. And so I take it very, very serious, right? I don't speak and do a whole lot of things everywhere, because I understand the severity of the calling, and people are in weak places and they're hurting, and so I want to really, really be able to impart in them. I spend a lot of time alone in my own study, in my own prayer and meditation. I don't tell people people like, why you're not getting and having this and the prayer and this and that, because it's me and the Lord.
Right. It's none of your business. I'm talking to him, not you.
It's me and him. But I pray often. I pray for people and with people and things like that. But I know the seriousness in what's going on with people, and how many people are hurt and how many people are broken. People don't understand. A whole lot of people are not really being honest about what the pandemic did to them. It messed a lot of people. A lot of people lost people.
Right.
the entire world was broke.
Yeah.
The same time,
Yeah.
everybody broke. And so for people, there are some families who still would get together every week, and they couldn't do that. That did something to them.
Yeah.
And some people who would call these relatives, and the relatives aren't there anymore. That's doing something to them. There's some people who got COVID last year, and they're just now recovering. Like,
right.
What? God, that does something to them. And people having to say goodbye to their relatives on FaceTime.
Yeah, not even being able to be there. That's
not. Do you know how it eats away at a child because they couldn't be at their parents' bedside when they had, they said goodbye? And so I understand the severity of the calling that God has given to me. And so I spend a lot of time alone, and I spend a lot of time with Him so that I can give it to people. And even with the YouTube videos, somebody need that.
Yeah.
Even with the blog, somebody need that. Even with this, and we probably done gone over our time, but we just talking. Even with this, somebody needed this. And so I understand. It's very serious. And so my wife is speaking at the Essence Festival so that I can just impart and empower and motivate. And what I said, uplift and, uplift, inspire, and motivate millions to greatness.
Millions.
That's my goal. That's what I say it now, Rae. Y'all hear it. My goal, hey, I'm Rae, and my goal is to uplift, inspire, and motivate millions to greatness. And that's what I'm going to do.
That's a great why. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Could you imagine the empowerment movement after that? People walking out, going start businesses.
But you know what? I wouldn't want to do it in no other city but mine.
Right.
That's why wherever God takes me before or after that, it'll be up to Him. But to be able to do it in a place that I was reared and raised and that holds just place in my heart forever. Like I would that's my why.
It's a great why.
Yes, sir.
So what are two of your, I'm not even worried about the time. I ain't worried about that. What are two of your most important principles?
One comes from Maya Angelou, right? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Absolutely. I live by that. And I live by that because people speak a good game, but their actions are totally opposite. People say, I love you, but why are you hurting me? No, actions and words should align, right? And so that is one thing that I live by. And another thing that I live by is love is a verb. You absolutely have to show people love. And again, I'm a believer. God is love. We want to preach to people, but we don't show them the love. The best sermon is a life lived.
Right.
And so that you don't ever have to pull out a Bible and give them a scripture. What they're watching is your life. And so that's the best sermon that you can give somebody is an example by living what it is that you believe them and showing them God through your life. Some people may never step into a church. Some people don't want to deal with the church people.
Right. Them church folk.
We gonna talk about that on another time. Some people don't want to deal with it. And we absolutely understand. But they will talk to you in the store about how good God is and how good God has been to them. Or they will be more receptive to you if you are giving them something to help them. If a man is hungry, what are you supposed to do? feed them. If a man is naked, what are you supposed to do? Clothe them. They don't need a scripture in that moment. He needs a meal.
Yeah.
And so give him the meal, and then after you feed him, give him God. Talk to him about God. Because guess what? He'll be more receptive to you because you have shown him God. You have shown him that God is supplying what he needs when he needs it. And so that's another one that I live by.
Two great principles to live by. What has been the best part of your journey?
The best part of my journey is motherhood, actually. Nothing gives me more joy than my kids. Nothing, I promise you, gives me more joy than them. And just that God has trusted me with lives. Wait a minute, and it's borrowed time. So I'm just did my best in trying to raise men who will have their own families, and I want them to be the best husbands that they can be to their wives, and the best fathers that they can be to their children. So the best part of my journey is in motherhood. It has been motherhood. Don't ask me my age, boy. Y'all hear him? Get him. Sean, come get him. Mom, how old are you? Get this boy. Sean, come get him. My sister's on here.
You don't ask me that.
Don't ask me my age, boy. And I got a birthday coming to y'all, so.
Birthday coming, that means go buy some books. Go buy some books.
Thank you. Rae Davenport.com.
So what's next?
Woo, Lord, what's next? So I recently launched my blog that I told you all about. That is very, very brand new. Go check out my blog, y'all. Listen, the headquarters for Rae is RaeDavenport.com. So the blog is very recent. I am in the works of doing my own podcast. Just trying to pick out the right format and things like that. And there's one more thing that I think is safe to say, but your girl is gonna have her own radio show, y'all. Woo!
Oh, look at that on the airwaves.
On the air.
That's big right there. That's big there.
Yeah.
That's big there.
Still kind of working out the logistics, but that's absolutely something that will be happening in 2021. When that will launch, I'm not exactly sure. Because listen, we want things to be done right. We want things to be done perfect, but we know that we won't start with perfection. And so I just gotta start. And that is something else that I am very afraid. Just being honest, I've never done anything like that. But I also ask God to do new things in my life. I say, God, do things for me that I didn't even imagine for myself. And you got to be careful with that because he will.
He going to throw something at you.
Rae, you know I ain't do no radio before. But
he going to throw it at you.
I asked for it. I didn't say, Lord, do this. No, I said, Lord, do new things for me that you had never done before, that I have never done before, but that you would have for me to do. And he is. And so that's why I want, if you're going to take anything away from today, y'all, is that you just have to start. Everything
right now
is gone. Give him your yes. Please give him your yes. But you're going to have to start. You got to make the step, whether it's a step in fear, step in faith, just step. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. Me being able to encourage and motivate and empower people all started with being afraid, but I gave them a scary yes. And then the yes turned into being a yes of boldness and things like that. And so that's something that is in the works for me. What else? I have no idea what God is going to do because there's so many other things that's in the works. I have more books that's coming out and more ebooks that will be dropping. courses. I am, a life and a certified life coach, and a divorce coach. And so I do accept clients. Now, let me tell y'all, there is a difference between therapy and coaching. A life coach is not a therapist. So go to your therapist first, and then you go hire a coach if you need it. Because there is a distinct difference in those services. But who knows? Listen, I am up in the air. I ain't telling God no. I'm just saying, God, if you want me to have it, I'm going to.
The answer is yes. If you say, hey,
yes.
do you want it? Yes. What about it? Yeah. Yeah. Don't even, yeah. You ain't got to, just send it. Whatever,
and guess what? I only want what he has for me. I don't want what he has for her. I don't want what he has for him. I want what he has specifically and tailor-made for Rae. So yes, anything and everything is possible.
That's amazing. This was amazing. Well,
it was awesome.
if y'all wasn't taking any notes and y'all have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the comments.
Yes. Come on
with some questions. Y'all. Something. Hopefully y'all had some pen and paper and y'all was taking notes. Most of your questions could probably be answered at RaeDavenport.com.
Listen, that's a way that I promise you, that's a way that you can get in contact with me. Again, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube, I dabble in Twitter a little bit, but RaeDavenport.com is how you can get in contact with me. They asked me, Rae, can you come speak here? I do virtual and live speaking engagements, whether it's book signings, I am, panelists, anything, conventions, conferences, retreats, even if I have something coming where a lady is having a girls' night with her and her friends, and she was like, Rae, can you just come and do what you do to impart? Absolutely. So I can do what it is that you need me to do. Just get in contact with me, y'all. I am here and I am available.
And how do they get in contact with you again?
RaeDavenport.com. And go pick up the book.
Definitely. And get that, and get the level up roadmap.
Go all that is where
RaeDavenport.com.
Yes.
You have any parting words?
Any parting words? God doesn't want perfection. He wants obedience.
Quotable.
So, y'all, it just takes a yes. So I do have a question. Have you ever considered doing healing parties? And see, that's amazing that you asked that, because just a couple weeks ago I was thinking about doing something on that idea, although that would be very different for me. And then kind of when you start thinking about it, be like, actually not, because you kind of do it any kind of way, but just to call it a healing party in that setting, I have considered that. So just let me play around with it in my head. You know, to contact me. I gotta write some things out so I can make sure that if I did something like that, I would do it right, and that people will actually receive the healing that it is that they need. So absolutely, that's something that I have considered. But God doesn't want perfection, y'all. He just wants your obedience. And there's so much more in store for you, just being obedient to Him. Because the thing is, everyone is called to do something, right? Everybody's called to do something. And people think when they ignore their calling, that the calling doesn't stop. The calling doesn't stop. You're going to continue to be called. It's going to be up to you to whether you answer the call. But guess what? People also won't tell you is, you keep ignoring God's call, He's going to eventually ignore yours. And so you don't want him to ignore your call when you need him the most. And so there's the, people will not be honest enough. They'll be like, God is gonna always be God. He's always there, but there are times when God is quiet,
right?
And nobody wants to have those kind of conversations. Well, why is God quiet? Because there may be something that it is that you need to do and get in alignment with him.
Right.
And so you don't want to find yourself on the other side of God's silence.
Right.
So the calling never stops. It's going to be up to you to whether you answer the call. You don't want to die and not having fulfilled your calling or your assignment. You don't want to get to where it is that you're going and be like, you didn't, people be like, oh my gosh, she has so much potential. He has so much potential. Potential is good for who?
Potential is good for nothing.
Potential is nothing. I'm going to cut my light on, y'all. Potential is nothing. And so you don't want to die with potential. You want to die having given your all, having given everything, having fulfilled your calling and your assignment. And not saying that it will be fulfilled, but you absolutely want to be doing what it is that God has for you to do at the end of your road. Right. So you don't want to die with so much potential. And I wish we would have seen what the person would have become. And we hear that so much. And so we don't want that. You don't want that to be a part of your story.
Not at all.
I wish we would have seen with it, so answer your call. And guess what? Your call is for you. No one absolutely has to understand it. Because there's some people be like, girl, I don't know about that. Well, he didn't call you. He called me. It's for you. And so no one has to understand it. And so when you give him your yes and you're obedient, then he will start to lay the things out for you. I promise you he will. You'll start to get ideas and opportunities and people calling, and you'll find yourself at the right place at the right time when people having certain conversations, and then it is presented, or your name will be mentioned in rooms that you haven't even walked into yet.
Right.
All that happens, but that doesn't happen until you are obedient and you have said yes.
Yeah, definitely. Give him that yes.
Give him that yes.
Give him the yes and start right now.
Absolutely. And another thing we have to stop doing is we also look at other people that may be doing what it is that you've been called to do, and you be like, well, it's enough people. There could be a million people selling shirts. If God told you to sell it, you be the millionth and one. Because then He's gonna make a way. He's gonna make a way for you to be successful doing that. Okay, so we have to stop looking at other people and just focus on what it is that you have been assigned to do. Ordering our steps, absolutely. Listen, yes, Miss Keisha Watson, yes, ordering our steps. He does that, but he does that with our obedience.
Yeah, definitely. That's my wife. She keep chiming in.
I like wife.
You put your put your website up there.
I like her. I gotta meet her. Come on, sis should have came on.
Maybe one day she'll jump on one with me. Maybe one day. I don't know.
Yes. Listen, Ray, put this down. I'm putting that out there. Once I get married, your wife gonna come on with my husband. That's what we gonna do. We gonna have it.
That'll work. We gonna do it. We put it out there. It's out there now.
This is real. I'm real single today, y'all. But guess what? we gonna be on the show with Ray.
She say I'm real single. I really appreciate it. I really do. I really appreciate it. This was great. Hopefully people had their pen and paper and was taking some notes. If not, it'll be on YouTube. It'll also be on my website, herfadorlounge.com. It's gonna be up there too. Yeah, you see the little face she put in there?
I see you.
Yeah, ain't no laughing. She gonna get on here one day. Yeah, like normally I try to do an hour, but I told I ain't care about time. It was too many gems being dropped, too much knowledge, too much motivation and empowerment and uplifting going on.
It was. I talk, y'all. I'm sorry.
Not a problem. It's not a problem at all. Not a problem at all. I really do appreciate you accepting my invitation. Thank you very, very much.
Yes, sir. And I thank you for the opportunity. I see great things for the Herfador, and I'll be able to look back once it's big and do it here, and I'll be like, I was one of them in the beginning.
and once it's big, we're gonna have you on again.
Come on, because guess what? We both gonna be big.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's gonna be. We both gonna be big, and it's gonna be huge. And you're gonna be speaking at Essence, and I'm gonna be sitting outside, sitting out in the crowd, and then I'm gonna be live streaming at Essence too. So,
come on, yes, do it, God, yes,
yes,
absolutely amazing, absolutely. So I appreciate you, Rae. Thank you for this opportunity. This is who I am. This is who I am in real life. It's no putting on. It's no fronting. This is just me. All the time, even the good days, the bad days, happy days, sad, all of this, and so all of that. And so this is who I am, and I love doing what I do. It's easy for me because the things, your assignment is yours. Right. And so you do it with joy, you do it with gladness, you do it even when times when the body is tired and there are other things that's going on, but you still do it. And so I appreciate the opportunity and the invitation. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome, and it was my pleasure.
Awesome. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all later.